going to love it!
Hello there everyone, Sweet Tooth here, and this is another installment of Honest Reviews.
Yay!
This week's episode is Filli Vanilli, and not to go too personal guys, but honestly, I've had a pretty bad week. I mean, overworked, over-emotional, both mentally and physically, and not the best Valentine's especially when you're all alone. So yeah, just going into this episode, I was hoping it would cheer me up, but thank God it did, because you know what? This is honestly one of my new favorites of this season. Just everything that this episode had to offer, it worked in its favor, and I just freaking love it. So, where can I start? Fluttershys, she has an amazing voice singing-wise, both singing and speaking, but singing is her main focus, and I don't know, that never established that she could have singing so beautifully in her vocal cords. Nobody noticed that before. I don't know, I'm still in the middle of season 1, so I might be missing something there, but who cares about that? Because Rarity convinces Fluttershys to join her parent, I'm just going to call it barbershop quartet band called, the Ponytones, is it? I could be wrong, but the Big Mac there as well, so that should tie things over nicely. But speaking of which, Big Mac loses his voice over, which I think is a pretty funny sub thing going on, which could be its own episode really. You kind of think that going in the scene, but it was funny. I liked it. So yeah, they come to the conclusion that Fluttershys could help sing using the poison joke from Bridal Gossip in season 1, which obviously leads into another Sakura cameo. And you know what? I really like how they call back to previous episodes. Some people just might be like, oh, this is how they were, they're not developing anything new. Well, here's my argument. Avatar: The Last Airbender did that. Whenever something needed to be called back from previous characters or something that happened in general, they would briefly talk about it, and so that the audience will know what's going on, and they would be like, oh yeah, that's right, and we'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, and also Flutterguy's a thing now. Just whenever Fluttershys gets the poison joke infected in her system, she's automatically gonna go to Flutterguy and no other Simpson. So, and yeah, and speaking of Flutterguy in general, I didn't know this until after the episode. They got a new guy to voice Flutterguy in general, which I'm not really bothered about. Speaking wise, it's pretty similar and still funny to hear, but I think it's the singing Flutterguy that really sells it. That this guy really sounds like he's having fun singing, just having a grand old time, and you know what? That's okay by me. But then you're gonna get to the obvious part of the episode where every pony's gonna find out that Fluttershys was singing for Big Mac this whole time. While the ponies love her, she's obviously got stage fright, and she just can't accept the fact that she's getting praise when she thinks it's bad. And I think that message is very relatable, because you know how she's going for. If you're going to be an entertainer in the music field or the acting field, whatever, you know how she feels, because we're going through that as well. Even when I'm talking right now, it's just like, do I really want to say stuff like that? But it's like, I carry on because it's what I love. And Fluttershy did what she did because she thought she was doing it for all these causes, like, we don't want to hurt the feelings of the penguins or the fillies or the squirrels now, do we? I like that little interlude they have in the middle there. That was fun. And it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, when the other ponies try to reassure that it's fine, they're not just saying that. They mean that. Because even at the beginning, they're like, oh, you have such a great voice. It's just like, yeah, it's the same with this situation here. It's just like, wow, wowdy, wow, wow. And all the stuff that, then that last scene where they try to reassure Fluttershy, I give major props Andrea Lemon, not just for that scene in particular, but just like her whole portrayal in this episode in general, because man, did she blow me away. I mean, oh my gosh, she's, at least for compared to when you had Bats where you just had Flutter Battle, whatever, at least here Fluttershy is more relatable in that sense. And I just love the fact that this situation is like, no, she doesn't regain her confidence fully. She's, as she said best at the end of the episodes, baby steps, every pony, baby steps. It's not the other words I would use, but at the same time, you know what she means, because that's just life. Nothing is going to come at you at the same time. If it was, me personally, that would be boring. So for just to get there one step at a time, that's one of the many things I love about this episode. And the songs, I should have mentioned the songs. The one at the beginning I absolutely love, because I thought that's what was going to be the focus of the singing, the songs part in general. Just that was beautiful, man. I mean, why hasn't Fluttershy got more songs aside from the Cutie Mark Chronicles one? I just didn't know it was gonna go fully focus on the whole barbershop thing. I love that. I mean, I'm glad they took this direction, because it just proves that they can go for a subject matter that we wouldn't expect, and you know what? It comes at it full force. It really grabs you, man. It's just, oh, just love this episode. Oh. Anyways, after watching this week's episode of Friendship is Magic, I think you guys know what the rating for this one is gonna be, so there you go. No words can describe the rating. No words can describe how much this episode works in its favor. The humor, the emotional scenes, the story in general, just the songs, everything works in its favor, and I absolutely adore for it. Like I said, major props to Andrea Libman, because if anything, this is one of her finest roles to date as Fluttershy. Pinkie Pie, can't really say, because it's just Pinkie Pie. She's just there for comic relief. But for Fluttershy, because it's the more dramatic and more emotional side for this actress. But you know what? She does an amazing job, and she once again proves, for my theory, why Fluttershy is best pony. So guys, that was my honest review for Filli Vanilli. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do comment in if you love this episode as well. If there's something that kind of bugged you that I didn't know, just please let me know, because I'll be very interested to know. I hope you guys are doing well. I shall see you next week. Take care of yourselves, and please remember, keep the music in your hearts.